This tutorial is an advanced tutorial for those who are considering learning a lot more about programming in Python or any other language, and it's all about user-defined functions. User-defined function is code that you create completely by yourself that can carry out a task. So far, using Python, we've seen things like print. Print is a built-in function, and it basically displays things on the screen. That's its task. You've seen str, that's a function, again built in, and that converts whatever value it is into a string. You've seen the int function, the input function. All these things that have lots of curved brackets. Even if is technically a function, and things like while as well. So we're going to look at user-defined functions, which is ones you create yourself. It does take a lot of understanding, so you might not pick up this quite quickly. It might take a bit of time. The example we're going to use is to find the maximum value between two different integers. So imagine the number was 7, another one was 10. We know in our heads that 10 is the maximum, but we want the program to work that out instead. In order to do this, I believe that's a sort of task that can be happening, something that can be done. So I'll create a user-defined function to kind of work for this. To make a user-defined function, type in def and then press the spacebar. Then provide a name for this user-defined function. In this case, I'm going to call it find max integer. There you go. I reckon that's a suitable name. I'm going to use this name at different points throughout my examples to basically find this maximum integer. I want to put two curved brackets there and a colon, and the curved brackets represent any parameters that you want to use with this function. Now a parameter is something that you send into a function and the function makes use of it. Right? For example, I send my age in, which is 49, that could be used as a parameter to do some maths to find out maybe what year I was born in and things like this. But we're dealing with two integers to do with maximum values, so I'll put in two integer names. I'll call this I number 1, another one I number 2. Of course you could call them any name that you want, and that's basically the names that I've chosen to do myself. I've wrote, let's call it as some structured English there, explain what to do. In the first line I said send number 1 and number 2 into function as parameters, so basically that's what I've done there. I've named the two parameters, I put a comma between them to separate them out, and that's the order they arrive in. They'll arrive as number 1 and then number 2. After that you can see I've come up with some ifs there, so I'm going to say if I number 1 is equal to I number 2, colon in there. That basically means they both match, they're both exactly the same, therefore which can I say is the highest? I can't really. So what I'll do is I'll send back an answer that lets me know that they were exactly the same. So I'm going to call this imax number, and I'll make it equal -1. So I'm saying if this finishes up at -1, that means that the maximum number, they both were exactly the same. So I sent them maybe 2 10s or 2 7s or 2 5s. I'm going to use a elif just to continue this on. So all this will be one long nested if. And I'm going to say, again, the stuff about the numbers, so I can copy some code here and paste it in. But in this case, it's going to be greater than. So I'm going to say, if I number, let's make it 1 there, because my example says 1, and that's number 2. Oh shit, that's what I've done wrong there. I should have put number 1 equals number 2 there. I'll put a greater than sign in there. So if it's greater than that, I want I max number to equal the one that's greater, so I number 1 is the greater one. And if it isn't that one, there's nothing left but the opposite, it must be lower than, so you can just put an else in, you don't need an elif, else will work. And then I max number is equal to I number 2, and that takes you to there. Now functions, you can make functions that don't return any answers back. But in this case, this function has to come back with the answer. What was the maximum out of the two numbers? So you have to use the return command. And return will send back one value, not two, only sends back one answer. So I'm going to send back I max number as the answer to this function itself. And believe it or not, that's the function created. I should save this file, I suppose. So I'll save this file in our usual place, and I'll call this user defined functions 1. There you go. So I know it's my example 1. Now this code itself won't do much, so execute it, watch for any spell mistakes, and as you see, nothing's happening at the moment. So what I have to do now is I have to test this function out to make sure it works, and what you usually do is you create some code to test things out. So my main code's basically here. That's where it sort of starts, and my function's up there, so I put a little comment in there simply saying function to identify the maximum integer between two integers. So that's a nice little description explaining what it's doing. Doesn't say much about how it works, but explains what it is. And in order to use these functions, you have to use certain types of code. So I'm going to have to come up with some sort of answer here. Now I'm going to say, for example, I number 1, spell it correctly. I've done it again. Number 1 is equal to, say, 30. And I number 2, so this is me just testing it. I can tell you straight away, obviously, I number 1's the highest one, but I don't want that. I just want to test this thing out. So I've got 2 integers there. I then want to find out if it works out. So let's say I result. In fact, we can put the I max number if you want. I max number is equal to, and what you say is the name of the function, find max integer, right? Then the brackets, then you have to actually mention the 2 parameters you're passing in. So it's I number 1 and I number 2. And we'll save that there. And of course, at some point I might want to print the answer out, and I'll put in I max number, just a quick way of saying it. And let's see what this code does. So it says 30, it's returned the answer 30. Now you'll say to yourself that seems pretty pointless, but in reality a lot of things have happened there that you don't recognise. And what we'll do in the next lesson on this is I'll explain a lot about variables and how things are viewed as global and local and things like that. We'll also change the output so you can see different things happening.